Hari Om, welcome you all to yet another session, very interesting session of Ola Sanskrit Sahitya. We are reading Madhyama-vyayoga, and we have just seen in the last lecture how Bhimasena has made an entry, not an entry, a very powerful, impactful entry, and saying that he is Madhyama and therefore Ghatotkacha can take him instead of the Brahmana Putra who is the Madhyama. And then Bhimasena tells him, why are you harassing this Brahmana family like Rahu harassing the moon? And therefore the Vipra is stated to be Vipra Chandra, and naturally, his wife becomes like the Prabha or the Kanti, and his three children are like Nakshatra Kiranasya Putrasya. So there is a full metaphor on Vipra as Chandra, and Rahu Riva Uttitaha, and then Ghatotkacha very proudly and arrogantly rather says, why Iva? Aham Rahuhu. Rahureva, Athakim, Rahureva. Not Rahuhu Iva, not like Rahu. I am Rahu for this Chandra, and I will harass him, I will eclipse him, I will kill him. Bhimasena, he doesn't like the arrogance, but somewhere he appreciates the way he is speaking, with full confidence, and therefore he says, Nivritta Vyavaharoyam Sadarastanayayi Saha Sarvaparadhe Vadhyatvat Muchyatam Dvijasattamaha. Dvijasattamaha Muchyatam. He tells Ghatotkacha, this Dvijasattama, the best of the Brahmins, Dvijasattamaha Muchyatam, should be released, should be rescued, should let go by you. Why? Sarvaparadhe avadhyatvat. Because he is a Brahmana, he is not to be killed even if he commits hundreds of blunders, hundreds of mistakes and hundreds of crimes. Sarvaparadhe. Though a Brahmana commits any blunders or he errs, he deviates from the dharma, the rules from the smritis, they say that he should not be killed, he could be at the most expelled, driven away from the country. Okay? Avadhyatvat sarvaparadhe. And now this fellow, this Brahmana, has not done any mistake. Poor fellow, he is traveling through the jungle. You only came in between and you are harassing him. He did not cause any trouble to you. So one who is niraparadha, he should not be punished at all. And even if a Brahmana is aparadhi, he should be released, say our Dharma Shastras. And therefore now he is saying, Nivritta Vyavaharaha Ayam. This poor Brahmana has got nothing to do with you. Kuch lena dena nahi hai tumse. He has not come in your way at all. He has not caused any trouble to you. Nivritta Vyavaharaha Ayam. He has not been doing any, rituals in the midst of this forest, which perhaps is your area and he is not allowed to. It's not like that also. So, Nivritta Vyavaharaha Ayam. He has not done anything here. He is not engaged in any activity in this dense forest. Sadaraha Tanayayi Saha. Secondly, he is accompanied by his wife and his children, his parivara, and he is a Brahmana. Three things are there. He is a Brahmana, number one, therefore Avadhya. He is accompanied by his parivara, his wife and his children, and therefore you should respect him. And thirdly, he has not caused any impediment to you by doing any vyavahara which will go against you, which will arouse your anger and wrath. Nothing of the sort. So, Muchyatam Dvijasattamaha. Ghatotkacha simply says, Na muchyate. No, he will not be let go. Bhimasena Atmagatam, to Swagata, his own self, he is saying, Bho, Kasya Putrena Anena Bhavitavyam, whose son he might be? Bhimasena doesn't yet know that he is his own son. Okay? Kasya putrena anena bhavitavyam, whose son he might have been, because he sees some traits in his character which could be likened to the characteristics of some of his brothers. Okay, and therefore the next verse it says, Bhratrunam mama sarvesham koyam bho gunataskaraha drishtvaitad bala shaundiriyam saubhadrasya smaramyaham. Very beautiful verse. Aham saubhadrasya smarami. I remember Saubhadra, the son of Subhadra, that is Abhimanyu. I am remembering Abhimanyu, looking at him and listening to him, looking at his posture, the way he is conversing, his confidence level and his bravery, his pride, the way he communicates, his articulation, his sound. First, you remember when Bhimasena hears him, he says, oh, this reminds me of the swara of Dhananjaya. Dhananjayas swarena sadrusham. So that was his first impression when he heard Ghatotkacha calling for Madhyama. So there is some sort of similarity with his brother. And therefore he says, Bhratrunam mama sarvesham koyam bho gunataskaraha. Who is this fellow, who is stealing, taskara, who is stealing the gunas of my brothers. Bhratrunam, sarvesham bhratrunam, all my brothers. Every single trait, single characteristic from each of my brothers he has borrowed perhaps. So he has borrowed, he has literally stolen, that means he has borrowed some characteristics from all my brothers. And when I see him, talk in such a proud manner and boastfully, having full confidence in his own physique and his own valor, nahi chodenge, jao kya karna hai karo, na uchchade, do whatever you want to like. So that sort of, which is like very youthful expression, and therefore Saubhadrasya smaramyaham. I somehow remember Abhimanyu, who is as valiant and as boastful as this. Drishtvaitad bala shaundiriyam. Now shaundiriya is a word on which I would like to dwell upon a little more, This is a very uncommon word which is not very frequently used by the later dramatists or poets. I haven't come across this word at all. In Ramayana at two places we do come across this word used by Valmiki. I will quote this. This is Shaundiriya or Shaunteriya. Either it is a ta, in the ta varga only, ta, da, either it comes as a takara or dakara, okay? And Ramayana, Valmiki has it in takara, Shautiriya, and he says in the Ayodhya Kanda, 73rd chapter, verse number 23, Bharata saying this to Kaikeyi. When Bharata comes back from the Matula Griha, and he learns about, Rama being sent to Vanavasa, and Kaikeyi has asked for the boon to make Bharata as the king, the enthronement of Bharata and all. He is very angry, very upset, and he accuses and criticizes his own mother. That time he says, Adya charitra shautiriyam tvam prapya vinivartitam. The pride of charitra, of our conduct, of our shila, of our behavior has gone away looking at you. I mean the Dasharatha's family, the entire family, the Ikshvaku family is boastful for their behavior, for their conduct to other people and conduct to people in their families. But the way Kaikeyi has behaved has maligned the entire image. So, tvam prapya adya charitra shautiriyam vinivartitam. all that charitra, our boasting of our own lineage and Ikshvaku's dynasty and this and that, that all has evaded now looking at your behavior. So that is one instance in Ayodhya Kanda. In the Aranya Kanda, Ravana talking to Maricha. Now Ravana wants Maricha to help him to kidnap, to abduct Sita. And Maricha, he is not agreeing to that. He accuses Ravana in many terms that this is not a proper thing that you are doing. You should not be doing such a thing. He advises him in a very proper manner. And Ravana gets very angry with him and, starts criticizing him and thrashing him, And then at last Maricha says, okay, if I don't listen to Ravana, he will kill me. It is better to be killed at Rama's hand than by Ravana, And therefore he says, okay, whatever you say, I am ready to do that. And Ravana is very happy. And then he says to Maricha, Etat shautirya yuktam te mat shabda vashavartinaha idanimasi marichaha purvamanyo hi rakshasaha. Now I see you as Maricha, the Rakshasa. Earlier, you were someone else talking to me in different terms. Now you have agreed to behave and to do what I want you to, I really feel Idanimasi Marichaha. Now you are really Maricha. Earlier you were somebody else talking to me. So, Etat Shautirya Yuktamte. This your vachana that I will do whatever you want me to do, So that boastful vachana, Shautirya vachana, I really appreciate it. So 2 times we have this instance in the Ramayana. So what is this Shautirya or Shaundirya? Because this is a very unique word, we don't come across this, very often. So just to explore from the verbal root, it is Shauta, Shautati, the Prathama Gana, Bhadi Gana, to be proud, to be haughty, that is the root. Shauta, Shautati. And there is Iran as a pratyaya to that, it makes the word Shautira. Shautira is like a hero, a champion, a boastful person, a proud person. And Tasya Bhavaha Shautiryam. So Shout plus Iran makes the word Shautira. For example, we have the word called Vikrama Shautiraha. One who is boastful of his valor, Vikrama Shautiraha, and Tasya Bhavaha Shautiryam. Now this is all about Takara. What about Dakara? Shaundirya. So in that Shaundirya, it is ta and da are interchangeable, as in Malayalam language. We always interchange ta to da, right? So similarly, it is ta and da interchangeable of the same varga. Otherwise, it is from the word shunda. Shunda is the trunk of the elephant, shunda, hastinaha, shunda, karaha. So this is, and from that, the word is shaunda. From shunda, the word is shaunda. Shunda, the lexical meaning is not only the trunk of the elephant, but also liquor. Okay? And therefore, shaunda is one who is, like a drunkard, one who loves to drink. That is shaunda. If people remember, while giving the Saptami Tatpurusha Samasa in the Samasa Prakarana, you have the word Aksha Shaundaha. Aksheshu Shaundaha. So Shaunda basically is a drunkard, and Shaundira is a distiller, one who distills liquor, He is Shaundira, and Tasya Bhavaha is Shaundirya. So that is the basic, Abhidartha. But we do have Aksha Shaunda, Mana Shaunda in Veni Samhara, then Dana Shaunda. So here all, it is not just drinking, but having that intoxication. When a person drinks, the intoxication he derives, similar intoxication by giving दान. हम बोलते हैं ना, दान का नशा चढ़ गया इसको. Some people are intoxicated, are possessed by the feeling of giving away, their dravya in charity, in dana. So दान का नशा चढ़ गया है, मान का नशा चढ़ गया है. So that nasha is literally not with the drinking of the liquor, but intoxication. That sort of feeling, oh, I can do it and I have to do it. So that feeling is Dana Shaunda, Aksha Shaunda, Mana Shaunda, and all that things. And therefore Shaundirya could be from Shaundira and Tasya Bhavaha. So this is intoxication. And this is the Nasha, Bala Shaundirya. So इसको जो अपने पराक्रम का नशा चढ़ा है, न घटोत्कच is intoxicated, is like puffed up, is elevated by the very feeling that he is invincible and nobody can fight against him and nobody can defeat him, and he can do whatever he wants to, whatever he likes to do. Okay, so that is Shaundirya. And Drishtva etad Bala Shaundiryam, and looking at this elevation, that puffed up, what you can say, heroism in him, that bravery, that haughtiness, that little haughtiness in him, I really appreciate him. Kasya anena putrena bhavitavyam, whose son he might be, because I feel, there is some similarity with all my brothers' characteristics, and of course, I remember Saubhadra. Earlier, if you remember, the Vriddha Brahmana, when he is describing Ghatotkacha, though his physique is like Rakshasa, his eyes are not matching his physique. His eyes are filled with compassion. So maybe that sort of compassion he has borrowed, he has stolen that quality from Yudhishthira, Dharmaraja Yudhishthira. The Audhatya, Bhimasena is known for his Audhatya, his haughtiness. So that Audhatya he has borrowed from his own father, Bhimasena, and the Parakrama, the invincibility, he has borrowed from Arjuna. Ajeyatva. So Bhratrunam mama sarvesham koyambho gunataskaraha drishtvaitad bala shaundiryam saubhadrasya smaramyaham. So this is smarana alankara, saubhadrasya smaramyaham. Then this is all swagata, okay? He can't say it openly. This is all swagata, atmagata, and then prakasham. He says, bho purusha muchadam. He asked Ghatotkacha, Viprasattamaha muchyatam. He said, na muchyate. Again he is saying, Bho Purusha, with little, command in his voice. Bho Purusha muchyatam. Ghatotkacha still says, na muchyate. No, I will not let him go. And then what he says is really very impactful. He says, muchyatam iti visrabdham Braviti yadi me pita. Muchyata iti visrabdham braviti yadi me pita na muchyate tatha iheshaha grihito maturadnyaya. Very simple verse. Even if my father were to tell me, leave him, I will not leave. Now here the dramatic irony, you see, Bhasa has created such a wonderful situation. The father and the son are face to face, not knowing their identities. Right? And now here comes the dramatic irony. Even if my father were to tell me, his father only is telling him all the while, muchyatam, muchyatam. And now he says unknowingly that even if my father says muchyatam, na muchyate. And that too visrabdham, vishwasa purvaka. If with, command in his voice, the children have to obey the father's command, right? But here, even if my father tells me to do that, I will not. Why? Gruhito maturadnyaya. Because I have caught him at the behest of my mother. And mother's vachana, matur vachana, supersedes the pitru vachana. The matru vachana superseding pitru vachana in Indian scenario is very, very common. Is very common. And therefore Taittiriya Upanishad in the Shikshavalli starts with Matrudevo Bhava as the first sentence. Matrudevo Bhava. Then comes Pitrudevo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. The supreme commanding force in the household is the mother. And therefore Grihitaha Maturajnaya, and ironically enough and sarcastically also, all the husband would say, Meri kaun sunta hai? Nobody listens to me. They all listen to their mothers. Nobody listens to the father, right? So, na muchyate tatha iheshaha grihito maturajnaya. Then Bhima again says, Maturajnaya atmagatam. Again to his own self he is saying, Katham maturajnya iti asau guru shushrushuhu khalu ayam tapasvi. Oh, this poor thing. Ghatotkacha is not at all poor thing, but the way he is dedicated to his mother and hell-bent on fulfilling his mother's desire and keeping his mother's promises, the word given to his mother, that influences, Bhimasena. He really appreciates this quality and says, Asau Guru Shushrushuhu. He is really a person who is doing a seva, who listens to. Shushrusha, again, very wonderful word. And unfortunately in Marathi, we have changed its meaning, the Abhidhartha, altogether. Shushrusha, literally speaking, Shrotumichha Shushrusha. One who has a desire, ichha, one who has a desire to listen to somebody, that is called Shushrusha, and the agent noun of that is Shushrushuhu, like Mumuksha, Mumukshuhu, Pipasa, Pipasuhu, Bibhuksha, Bubhukshuhu. Similarly, here Shushrusha, Shushrushuhu. So one who desires to listen, and this person, this young child, young brat, spoilt brat perhaps, a Rakshasa Putra, but this young fellow, Tapasvi, he is one thing I have to admire in him, and that is he listens to his elderly people. Guru is not, really speaking, literally the Guru, the Acharya. Guru is anybody who is elder. So, listening to elders is a very good quality. Shravana is a very good quality, which in these days we are losing it. So, asau Guru Shushrushuhu. And then he says, Atmagatam only, Mata kila manushyanam devatanam cha daivatam maturajnyam puraskritya vayametam dasham gataha. It's a generalization. Basically, in the first sentence, Mata akila manushyanam daivatanam cha daivatam. Mata is the daivata of the devatas as well as manushya. So, Mata is a deity. Mata is the god, the idol. Idolization has to happen not only among the human beings but also amongst the celestial beings. Devatanam api daivatam, manushyanam api daivatam. Mata khalu. So, it is the due respect, due recognition given to motherhood. This has again come from the Indian Sanatana Dharma, the tradition. So, Bhasa is just, expressing, giving a reflection on what he has learnt. And the second line is really very tricky. The second line he says, Maturajnyam puraskritya vayametam dasham gataha. Listening to Matuhu Ajna, listening to our mother's advice, we have been rendered to this condition, this situation. Now what does this mean? This means a lot. Etam dasham refers to the Vanavasa of the Pandavas, right? They are really speaking the kings of the Indraprastha. They were the kings of Indraprastha, but now they have been expelled, because there is a 13 years of Vanavasa and all that, 12 years of Vanavasa, and 13th is Ajñātavasa, incognito. Etam dasham is the Vanavasa, the very pitiable condition in the forest, leaving aside all the royal glories and all the pomp, what a king should have. So, etam dasha. And this is because of what? There is what you can say slight sarcasm and little contempt in his voice when he says, Maturajñam puraskritya vayam etam dasham gataha. It was by our mother's ajna, command, which we followed, and therefore we were subjected to this humiliating situation. And what was that? You remember, you go back to the Sabha Parva, when Duryodhana called him for the Akshakrida, the Dyuta Krida, they should have denied that. But then the mother said, this is the indication which he is hinting at. The mother said the king should not deny the request of Adyuta Krida from another king. So this is, I haven't verified it from the Mahabharata, but that is what he is indicated at by Bhimasena. Little contempt, otherwise they are all obedient sons, and they are staying in the forest along with their mother, right? And therefore nothing to worry, mother is there with them. But still now, Maturajñam puraskritya vayam etam dasham gata. Somewhere in the innermost of his minds, he is grieving for that, etam dasham gataha. He feels, like they have become wretched and pitiable because of this humiliating condition in which they have to spend their lives along with Draupadi in the dense forest. So, Matuhu Ajna. We also followed Maturajna and we were subjected to this situation. Now, this fellow is also following Maturajna. What will happen next? Maybe there is a utkantha. There is a sort of utsukata. What will happen the next? Prakasham, of course, to him he says, Purusha, prashtavyam khalu tavadasti. You say that you are doing this by Maturajna and you will not listen to me, leave aside me. Even if your father were to tell, you said you will not listen because you have caught him by your mother's ajna. I want to ask you something. Prashtavyam khalu tavadasti. Bruhi shigram. Maturhu ahara kalaha tikramati. I have to take him quickly, She has to do the parana of her upavasa. Bruhi shigram. Ka nama bhavato mata? What is the name of your mother? Here comes the revelation now, right? Ka nama bhavato mata? Shruyatam, Ghatotkacha says, Hidimba nama rakshasi. She is Rakshasi, a demoness, a person born in a Rakshasa family, sister of Hidimba Rakshasa, who was killed at the hands of Bhimasena. Shruyatam Hidimba nama Rakshasi Kauravya Kuladipena Pandavena Mahatmana Sanathaya Mahabhaga Purnena Dyauhu Iva Induna. A nice Upama Alankara comes here, and he says this Hidimba nama Rakshasi, Ya Mahabhaga, that fortunate lady, Sanatha, she became, along with Natha, she got a master, Natha is a master, a lord, an overlord. So she got an overlord in the form of whom? Pandavena Mahatmana, by the Pandava, who is a great soul. Mahan Atma Yasya Saha. with the illustrious Pandava she got married, and thus she got her lord. Okay, and how is this Pandava? Kauravya Kula Deepena. He is born in the Kurukula, so Kauravya Kula, and he is not just Kauravya Kulaja, Kuladeepa. He is the most illustrious, most brave of all the Pandavas. Here Kauravas and Pandavas, they are all born in the same Kuru dynasty, right? Kuru was their ancestral father, and therefore Kauravya Kuladeepena, this is a Rupaka, this is a metaphor, Pandavena Mahatmana Sanathaya Mahabhaga Purnena Dyauhu Iva Induna. And the last quarter, last pada gives you a nice simile, an upama. The first pada gives you Rupaka, the last gives you an upama alankara. In the Anushtup Chanda it is Purnena Dyauhu Induna. Yatha Purnena Induna Dyauhu Sanatha Bhavati Tadvat Mama Mata Hidimba Nama Rakshasi Kauravya Kuladipena Mahatmana Pandavena Sanatha Jata. So that is the Anvaya of the entire shloka. As Dyauhu, as the sky, becomes Sanatha by Purna Indu, by the full moon. So the Akasha seems beautiful, looks beautiful because of the Purna Chandra. Similarly, with Purna Kuladipaka Pandava, my mother is shining. Now here people may ask one doubt. If you don't, you should ask. Okay, what is that doubt? Dyauhu. Normally, in the Rigveda we have Dyauhu or Dyuloka as a masculine word, and Dyava Prithvi becomes the dual divinity. Dyava, that the Dyuloka is the Purusha and Prithvi is the Stri. How come this Hidimba is compared with Dyauhu, which is a Pullinga? For your information, Dyauhu is also used as Strilinga noun. Dyauhu is also used as Strilinga. Normally, we say that is Pullinga, but here it is used as Strilinga, and therefore there is no Linga Vyatyasa as far as the verse is concerned. Yatha Purnena Induna Dyauhu Sanatha Tadrisham Mama Mata Hidimba Nama Rakshasi Kauravya Kuladipena Mahatmana Pandavena Sanatha. So this is the revelation now. He doesn't know yet that the person in front of him is Bhimasena, but Bhimasena got the name of his mother whom he had wedded few years back. And therefore Saharsham Atmagatam. Now he knows, oh, this is my son. No wonder therefore that, his voice resembles that of Arjuna, and no wonder therefore that he has borrowed so many qualities of all my brothers, and why he is so, Bala Shaundirya like Subhadra Tanaya, like Abhimanyu. Now all things fall in line. Now I know that he is my own son. Katham evam Hidimbayaha putroyam. Oh, this is the son of Hidimba. Sadrusho hi asya garvaha. Then whatever haughtiness, whatever pride he is revealing, it just behoves him. It just fits him. He deserves to be that, because he is my son, born of a Rakshasi. He can't be like, a very submissive character like this. He has to be very haughty and very proud. Sadrusho hi asya garvaha. And then he asks, still there is a Swagata only. Rupam, Sattvam, Balam Chaiva, Pitrubhihi Sadrusham Bahu, Prajasu Vita Karunyam, Manaschaivasya Kidrusham. Oh, he is my son. Okay. So his Garva, his Rupa is like his mother. Okay. And the robust build is like me. like father. Sattvam, sattva his buddhi or sattva is parakrama. Bala, again, his shaurya. This is all like the fathers and the mothers, I mean the parents, okay. Sattvam, Rupam, Balam Chaiva, Pitrubhihi Sadrusham. So this is all like the parents, okay. He has borrowed it all from his parents. But if he is my son, I am a Kshatriya, and all the Kshatriyas have to be compassionate towards their subjects, towards their praja, right? How come he doesn't have that karuna for the praja? Prajasu vita karunyam manaschaivasya kidrisham. How is his mind made up of what material? That there is no karuna for praja in his mind. Because this Brahmana and the Brahmana family have to be the praja. And if he is imitating me in all other qualities, why doesn't he imitate me in that karunya bhava, which comes automatically to all the Kshatriyas for all the people who they rule over, right? So this prajasu vita karunyam, kidrusham, I can't justify this, where it came from, why he is not having karuna for the praja. So Bhimasena is little bit grieved. Why Ghatotkacha entertains that sort of cruelty for the Brahmana and his family? Why there is no compassion? Why there is no daya bhava in his eyes? Again, Prakasham, he says, Bho Purusha. Still, he doesn't want Ghatotkacha to know that he is his son, okay? And therefore, he is addressing him as Purusha. Bho Purusha, Muchchadam. Again, third time he is saying, Muchchadam. Na muchyate. He is ada raha hai wo, adig. He is unshakable in his decisions. Na muchyate. Now Bhimasena doesn't want to argue with him. He says, he addresses the Brahmana. Bho Brahmana, grihyatam tava putraha. You take your son, okay? I will see what he wants to do. Vayamenam anugamishyamaha. I shall go with him. I am also Madhyama. He is calling for Madhyama, right? So you take hold of your son, be secure and safe, don't worry, main hu na, I am there. Vayamenam anugamishyama, I shall follow him. He wants to take the Madhyama Putra to his mother, right? I shall. So Vayam he is saying for me, this is plural, not aham anugamishyami. Vayamenam anugamishyamaha. When a person wants to, represent the whole clan, he will speak of himself as plural. Another situation when a person wants to, representing his clan is one thing, and when he takes that much pride in his own valor, that time also he will talk in plural about his own self. Amhi kona manu nakaya pusata. Like, don't ask who we are, that means who I am. So I becomes we at peculiar times. Vayamenam anugamishyamaha. The second son, the middle son who has come, he says, Maha bhavanevam. No, why are you sacrificing your life for my sake to save me? Please, don't do that. He says, Tyaktah prageva me pranaha. I just now went to that water pond and offered tarpana to me myself, that I will be dying now. Tyaktah prageva me pranaha. Guru praneshu apekshaya. In order to barter the lives of my guru, otherwise my father was ready to die, my mother was ready to die, my elder brother was ready to die, my younger brother was ready to die, but I have exchanged my life to save all of them, and I have already done tarpana for myself. Tyaktah prageva me prana, guru praneshu apekshaya. And whereas you are so young, he is addressing Bhimasena. You are young, yuva, rupa guna upetaha, and equipped with rupa, nice form, and guna, good qualities of compassion and bravery and this. Bhavan tishtatu bhutale. You continue to stay on this earth. Let me go, poor fellow. As it is, I am not going to benefit the world if I live long. But people like you should live long. So again, this is a very, what you can say, noble, magnanimous trait in the character of the Madhyama Brahmana Putra, that once once you lose hope of your living, then no matter what else comes, you have already prepared, you have conditioned your mind to die. And therefore he says, I don't want to live anymore. But for you, you are Yuva and Rupa Gunopetaha. So Bhavan Tishtatu Bhutale. You be here on this earth. Let you live long, helping others. As for me, as far as I am concerned, I have already done the Jalanjali for me, and therefore let me go. You don't sacrifice your life for me. Bhima says, Arya, ma eva. No, you can't say that. Kshatriya kulotpannaha, because I am born in a Kshatriya family. Kshatriya kulotpannaha, pujyatamaha khalu brahmanaha. The Brahmanas are most worthy to be worshipped and revered and respected. Tasmat sharirena, nama mama sharirena, brahmana shariram vinirmatum ichchami. Therefore, I want to exchange Brahmana Sharira, your body, by offering myself, by sacrificing myself. See, there are two types of Vinimayas now. The Madhyama Brahmana Putra has done an exchange of his life to save the entire Brahmana family. Bhimasena says, because I am a Kshatriya and it is a bounden duty of a Kshatriya, Kshatat iti kila Kshatriyaha. One who saves his people from any type of misery, any type of wound, any type of harassment and trouble, that is called Kshatriya. You are being harassed, you are in the trouble. So this is my bounden duty to save you, to protect you, and therefore let me exchange my life to save you. Let me do my duty. This is my dharma. As a Kshatriya, Kshatatranam iti Kshatriyasya dharmaha. So let me do my dharma. Kshatriya kulotpannahaham pujyatama. See the Varna Vyavastha during Bhasa's time and how much faith Bhasa has in the Varna Vyavastha. He really wants to, all the people have faith and belief in this Varna system. Not the Jati system, this is Varna system. Pujyatama khalu brahmanaha tasmat sharirena brahmana shariram vinirmatum ichchami. Gatotkacha atmagatam. Evam. Oh, kshatriyoyam. Oh, he is a Kshatriya. Tenasya darpaha. No wonder, that's why he is so proud. And he is, in a commanding voice is telling me, muchatam, muchatam. Only Kshatriyas can have that command in their voice. Tenasya darpaha. Therefore his darpa is very befitting him, his body and his darpa go hand in hand. Bhavatu. Imameva hritva neshyami. Okay, I will carry him only now. He is ready to offer himself. Okay. Imameva hritva neshyami. But Prakasham, in his mind he decides, okay, he wants to save the Brahmana child and therefore he wants to offer his own self. Okay, for me no problem. A big bali for my mother, a very stout body she will have, to eat. But Prakasham, he just wants to confirm it again. Atha kenayam varitaha, who is obstructing me while I am taking this Madhyama Brahmana Putra? Kenayam varitaha. Bhimasena says, Maya, I am here. I am not allowing you to take him. Maya varitaha. I have prohibited. Okay? Kim tvaya? This is said, Khunta halvun balkat karne. Sthuna nikhananan nyaya. It is called in Sanskrit, asthuna nikhanana nyaya. When you dig up a pillar, a pole in the mud, you have inserted it in the pit, in the ditch, and then you cover it also, the mud and all, but then you shake it little bit so that it goes still deeper. That is just to reaffirm and confirm, that it is strongly rooted and strongly established. So now Ghatotkacha wants to reaffirm that Bhimasena really wants to offer his life to save Brahmana Putra's life. So he asks, Kena varitaha maya, kim tvaya atha kim. Okay, so pakka, double, dvirbaddham, subaddham bhavati. Tena hi bhavaneva agacchatu. Okay then, for me no harm, I can take you. Bhavaneva agacchatu. Evam ati bala viryan na anugacchami. Yadite shaktirasti balatkarena mamnaya. Bhimasena is not a person who would just meekly follow Ghatotkacha, He wants to test the bravery, the prowess, and the parakrama, the shaurya of his son. Okay. Bhimasena, this is Bhasa giving an opportunity to Bhimasena to put him to a hardest test. If the father approves, yes, he has cleared all the examinations, then only Ghatotkacha's valor will be certified. Okay, so for giving him the certification, he has to show his. Now, so long he was exercising his power on that poor Brahmana and his family. Now, the Brahmana fellows are not there to fight against anybody. What are their dharma? Yajana yajana, dana pratigraha, and adhyayana adhyapana. This is Shadvidha karma for a Brahmana. Nowhere they will have, bow and arrow or a sword or malla yuddha and they will fight. It is only a Kshatriya who can fight. And therefore, Bhimasena is a Kshatriya. Ghatotkacha is a Kshatriyasya putraha, Rakshasyam jataha. So he wants to test his Bahubala. And therefore he says, just because you say, Bhavan agacchatu, I am not going to follow you meekly, Evam ati bala viryan na anugacchami. I will not follow. Anugaccha, anugama is to follow. I will not go behind you. Because, if you feel that you are ati bala, you are parakrami, and balavan, you are very valiant, then show me your valor. Yadi shakti rasti, and he challenging him. Yadi shakti rasti, balatkarena mamnaya. If you really have that gut, that prowess, then bind me and take me with you. I am not going to follow you like this just because you feel you are very, very valiant. Ati bala virya. You feel yourself as you are virya yukta and bala yukta, you have power, you have bravery, and you want me to follow. I am not going to do that. If you have that valor, show it to me. Manifest it to me. Kim mam pratyabhijanite bhavan? Do you know me? Who am I? Why are you challenging me like this? Prati abhijna, that is, have you recognized me? Who am I? You have just seen me as a Purusha. You have been talking to me like a Purusha. Okay? Bho Purusha, Bho Purusha. Kim mam pratyabhijanite bhavan? Do you know who am I? Bhimasena, in a lighter tone, just wants to make fun and little hasa. That's why, Jayadeva calls Bhasa as hasa. Bhaso hasaha kavikula guruhu kalidaso vilasaha. Bhasa gives you a very subtle smile on your face in the midst of this fighting situation. Okay? Very subtle smile. Ekhaditari smitaresha. Kim mam pratyabhijanite bhavan? Do you know who am I? Mat putra iti jane. I know you as my son. See, for a Kshatriya, all the praja is his son. That is one meaning. For every elderly person, a younger person is like the sun. That is the second reason. So Ghatotkacha takes it that way. And Bhimasena knows it for certain that he is Ghatotkacha, born of Hidimba, his own son. So out of love he wants to say, Mat putra iti jani, I know you as my son. Katham katham tava putroham. Hey, I'm not your son. How can I be your son? He doesn't know, right? Katham katham tava putroham. How can I be your son? Then Bhimasena, Katham rushyati, why are you angry? You don't like me calling you as putra? Okay, chhod do. Katham rushyati, marshayatu bhavan. Sorry for that. Marshayatu bhavan, please forgive me for calling you as my putra. Sarvaha prajaha kshatriyanam putra shabdena abhidhiyante. All the prajas, all the people, they are called by Kshatriya as their putra. Ata evam maya abhitam. Therefore I said it. Not that you are really my son. Okay? I don't want you to be really my son. But all the prajas are like son only, no? Like children only. And therefore I called you Mat Putra. If you don't like it, okay. Marshayatu bhavan. Then Ghatotkacha says, Bhitanam ayudham grihitam. Oh, now you have taken a weapon of a coward people, of a person who is frightened, who is afraid of me. See, you first said that Yadi Shaktirasti Balatkarena Mamnaya. And then you are calling me as Putra. Okay? You are calling me as Putra. That means you want me to give you respect and all that. I am not a person of that sort. Okay? I will fight. I will bind you and I'll take you, I'll drag you and like this. So don't act like a coward person, like a fearful person who is frightened of my valor. Idanim bhitanam ayudham grihitam. Ghatotkacha feels that Bhimasena is really frightened now. He is afraid to walk after Ghatotkacha. Okay? And therefore he is calling him as Putra and trying to establish a bond of paternity, in a way, a filial bond he wants to establish. So we'll stop here now. Let us see what happens in the next lecture and how Ghatotkacha, Balatkarena Bhimasenam Netukamaha, how he takes him and what happens next. So this is, like little challenging and little curiosity, Utkantha Vardaka. So we'll have it next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See you next time, next Sunday. Until then, goodbye. Hari Om, Dhanyavadaha. And one more thing, again a reminder, I had announced it, the Samvada Suktas in the Rigveda, an on-site camp happening on the dialogue hymns of the Rigveda from 16th January to 21st January. But we want all the participants on campus before 15th morning. Because 15th morning we are going to have a Lakshmi Narayana Puja, an annual puja performed for the welfare of all the donors. So see you there in the camp. Some of you would like to come here and there are so many attractions. Please log in to chinfo.org for more details. Hari Om.